It was a rainy Tuesday evening when a desperate voice whispered into a phone receiver a young girl trapped, frightened, and pleading for help. But the call went unanswered. Moments later, the line went dead, leaving her fate unknown. Take a moment right now to like this video, comment, share it with others, and subscribe to Moral Avenue. Together, we can remind the world that sometimes the smallest actions or inactions echo for years. Meet Emily Hart, a dedicated nurse in her late 20s, known for her compassion and tireless care. She worked the night shift at the city hospital, balancing exhaustion with endless empathy. Across town lived Sheriff Tom Riley, a man with decades of service but whose complacency had begun to show in subtle ways: overlooked reports, half-hearted investigations, and a growing sense of detachment from the community he vowed to protect. One evening, a call came into the sheriff's office. A girl had vanished from her neighborhood, last seen crying out in fear to anyone who would listen. The dispatcher hesitated, distracted by paperwork and personal concerns. When Emily received a panicked text from a concerned parent about the missing girl, she immediately tried to intervene, reaching out to the police herself. But her calls were brushed off. "We'll look into it," they said. Nothing came of it. Days turned into weeks. The neighborhood whispered fears about the missing child. Emily felt the gnawing weight of guilt, replaying every moment she might have acted differently. Every time she passed the sheriff's office, she could feel eyes on her, the unspoken accusation that she had failed, too. Meanwhile, Sheriff Riley's inaction haunted him in small ways. An angry email here, a worried parent there, but he continued to rationalize, blaming overstretched staff and bureaucracy. Months later, Emily discovered something she hadn't expected: a series of overlooked evidence reports tucked away in the office filing cabinets. Her hands shook as she realized the truth. If even a few of these had been prioritized, the girl might have been found immediately. Rage mixed with sorrow, she vowed she wouldn't let time erase the injustice. Years passed. Emily had moved to a smaller town, carrying the memory like a shadow. Then, one quiet morning, a letter arrived. It was from a young woman named Lily, the same missing girl. She had survived, hidden away by an unexpected guardian, and had finally uncovered the truth about what happened that night. The letter included names, dates, and even details about the missed calls that had doomed the initial search. Shockingly, it revealed that the sheriff had retired quietly, forced into a pension after a whistleblower report exposed the mishandling of multiple critical cases, the missing girls being just the most public. Justice had quietly caught up to him. But the most astonishing revelation came at the end of Lily's letter. She wasn't just the missing girl anymore. She had become an advocate for missing children, founding an organization that tracked cold cases nationwide. And she was coming to Emily, the nurse whose voice had tried to cut through the silence years ago, to thank her and to reveal that one ignored call had sparked a lifetime mission. Emily's eyes welled with tears as she realized the profound truth. Even when the world fails to act, small acts of persistence and courage can ripple into lives saved, justice served, and hope restored. Sometimes, the quietest voices create the loudest echoes. Emily's hands trembled as she opened the folder. There were names of powerful people who had secretly facilitated Lily's disappearance. Reports the sheriff had ignored were only the tip of the iceberg. Lily's safe return hadn't ended her ordeal. It had exposed a network of corruption, greed, and cover-ups that reached far beyond what anyone imagined. As Emily read through the documents, a chilling realization hit her. Some of the same officials who had ignored the distress call were still active in positions of influence. And one name stood out: someone she trusted, someone close to the hospital. Fear and disbelief collided with anger and determination. The people who failed Lily once were now a threat to uncovering the full truth. Meanwhile, Lily revealed that she had been secretly investigating her own disappearance. She had been tracking leads for years, piecing together the mystery one painstaking step at a time. But now, with Emily's help, they were dangerously close to exposing the whole conspiracy, a revelation that could destroy careers, reputations, and even lives. Just as they were about to call law enforcement, an anonymous message arrived on Lily's phone: "Stop digging, or you'll regret it." The handwriting was unknown, but the threat was unmistakable. Emily and Lily realized that some truths were worth risking everything for, and that courage and justice often demanded personal sacrifice. Then, in the final pages of the folder, a photograph tumbled out. It showed the girl who had gone missing years ago not just surviving, but standing in the shadows of a crowded event, watching the people who had betrayed her. The look in her eyes was unmistakable. She hadn't forgotten, and she hadn't forgiven. Emily and Lily looked at each other, understanding that the journey to justice was only beginning. The girl who had vanished was no longer a victim, she was a force that would confront those who dared ignore the cries of the helpless. And as the cafe door opened, a shadow fell over their table. Someone was watching. Someone who knew everything. Courage and truth are the only lights strong enough to cut through darkness. If this story shook you, make sure to subscribe to Moral Avenue, where we uncover the hidden truths behind injustice and kindness alike. Please take a moment to like this video, share it with friends, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us continue spreading stories that inspire and heal. Before we end, I have one special request. Comment below what you would do if you uncovered a secret that could change lives but also put you in danger. Thank you for watching Moral Avenue. Justice waits for no one, but it never forgets.